right in the finals.
Yeah, and that's a great point. So the fact that Rock goes over to Prison and they hold it down and they finish just outside the bubble in 10th place shows me good faith today is going to be a great day. After all, even though they finish in 6th place in the EU qualifiers, this is a roster that is considered one of the best EU teams out there. So Rock Esports, I'm expecting them to have a very, very strong performance.
Shift, I got to ask you the hard question. Which player has the pressure on their shoulders most? Wars, Vision, or Prodigy?
I'm going to go with Vision. I know that he's the top slayer, but I feel like the decision-making for Rock in the early game has been really infringent upon what he gets. And some of the times, it's, again, the games where they don't find any success, they drop out bottom 3, it's because Vision hasn't found any entry kills. So I'm actually putting a little bit more pressure on the heavy slayer for the team.
Those are 3 of the big dogs in our 14-team fight today. Were those frogs or keys on his shirt? Either way, we got to check out our Aramco power rankings here to see where you put our top squads. With the favorites done, we got to find out how the rest of this field shakes out. And here we have the favorites on top for today. 100 Thieves, Inner Circle, Movistar Koi, and Rock Esports. But when it comes to the bubble watch, who do you have eyes on?
Yeah, I think Gentlemates they saw immediate success playing in front of the crowd that's joined them now from yesterday into today. So I think they're in a really good spot. Five Fears are also looking at strongholds. So if they can find success like Falcons did, they could very well make their way in.
Dream Crazy, you put AGAL on the dark horse list. Why are we watching this squad? What do you expect from Rated and crew?
Well, there's speculation that Nate Dogg, right, he was having a little bit of difficulty. Maybe he's not like going out there and playing to top form, but the role switch, right? So we have Nate Dogg that's anchoring it up now, and Rated and Scum in the duo going out and slaying. So a little bit of a change up. We'll see if they can get their roles figured out. But for AG Global, some should say they shouldn't even be here.
All right, let's check in with our players as they are now arriving here in Riyadh, about to take the stage in the Qiddiya Esports Arena. You got Wars leading the way, hands are up, ready to play. Everyone else starting to file in as well. Taylor, as you take a look at this squad, what are the expectations for Gentlemates? They have a huge fan base cheering them on.
Massive. Actually, the biggest, probably even dwarfing that of Falcons Twisted Minds. I'm calling you out there in the crowd. Get loud for Falcons Twisted Minds, because Gentlemates are taking you all by storm. They've got a lot of expectations, and I tell you what, if they don't make it into finals, there's a lot of fans out there going to be quite disappointed.
Now here on day 3, it's all about 8 drops. But what duo are we looking at? It's 2 teams facing off in our SNB match of the day. What showdown are we excited about?
It's the battle for early control at Control. 100 Thieves, Movistar Koi, they ruined each other's games by those opening drops. When 100 Thieves found success dealing with Koi, 100 Thieves found themselves in the top 3. Same could be said in the other way, though. So this is going to be a pivotal matchup, and one of these 2 teams, they keep fighting each other, may not make it to tomorrow.
You know, that's what I was listening to on the Pulse check last night. Like, they're not moving. Either both go to finals or neither. They have to stop chalking each other. Maybe, you know, land in some different spots, because we know the South Side is kind of free, right? A little bit. We'll see what happens.
Who, wasn't it in one of the interviews, someone from Movistar Koi said a player from 100 Thieves, they're dumb because they just keep challenging us and they just cannot make any headway?
Who was that?
Right
I don't know. It's been a coin flip.
We're going to let the trash talk continue live, because I'm told the players are ready to party. Ladies and gentlemen, day 3, the LCQ begins right now, live from EWC.
Survival in Warzone isn't just about kills. It's about what you do when your squad is down and your back is against the gas. We've all had moments where we feel like everything is lost and we have to claw it back. But today, that spirit of survival will come to life on this stage. My name is Barney Banks, and I am your host, and welcome to the last chance qualifier for Call of Duty Warzone at the Esports World Cup. And this could be the last time that you hear these names called out to the main stage, because today, keys are being noise as we introduce your teams, starting with 9Z Globant. They are Goodbye, Elato, and Bale. Fnatic. They are Patsuka, Engzion, and Zatar. Gamax Esports. They are Tenix, Elolam, and Sucra. XO Esports. They are Hamoud, Notorious, and Penguin. All Gamers Global. They are Scumman, Rated, and Nate Dogg. EVOS Esports. They are Robstar, Jawad, and Showstopper. Leviathan. They are Deki, Lays, and Stukex. Five Fears. They are Scythe, Big Man, and Anxiety. VKA. They are Aizen, Vedati, and Kadzu. Gentle Mates. They are Enkyo, Hallow, and Gromalok. 100 Thieves. They are Gaekun, Blast, and Skullface. ROC Esports. They are Wars, Vision, and Prodigy. Inner Circle. They are Teeny, Orbs, and Bray. And finally, Movistar Koi. They are Goat Clamp, Netodds, and Bolcom. Be ruthless, be relentless, and be unforgiving, because legends are made in the midst of chaos. So lock in, load up, and let's make history. It is time for the last chance qualifier.
Well, good evening, Riyadh, and well, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Welcome into Call of Duty Warzone here at EWC LCQs. We've got Goj and Tun here in the booth. And Tun, LCQs are some of my favorite days. That means teams are getting eliminated.
There's times where we're actually going to see some keys get crushed, right? I mean, that's what EWC is about for me. I want the jeopardy. I want the risk. I want the stakes. And they have never been higher for all of these teams who are ready to get it down on Rebirth Island once again. We will lose 7 of them. 7 will head to our finals tomorrow. And frankly, it's quite hard to say exactly which 7 are going to be going through. I like to think, you know, as far as predictions go, we've been okay along the bubble. Maybe mine of Falcons not finishing in the top 3 is the most questionable and was from the get-go. But at the same time, there's many, every single team could make it through the end. I mean, outside maybe 2, I think I'd fear for 9Z Global and Gamax Esports to be able to make that push. But outside of that, literally every single one of these teams has the potential to make it to tomorrow.
Well, frankly, I wouldn't count anybody out,
true.
maybe even not 9Z, and I think the reason why is because with LCQs, when your back's against the wall, or the gas in this instance, like Barney Banks eloquently put, is teams are going to change things up. You're going to see totally different strategies. You're going to see totally different play styles. I expect a couple of our top teams that quote-unquote shouldn't be here are going to keep the same strategy. I expect 100 Thieves to keep going control. I expect Imkoi to keep going control. But everybody else, I think, are going to drastically shift things up. And like the analyst eloquently put as well, this is a totally different map. You don't have the Falcons and VP soaking up a crazy amount of points.
Sí, sí. 1-2, 1-2.
Teams in certain POIs like Chemical. This map is going to change dramatically.
Oh, 100% changes the scope.
Ahora sí me escucho. Perfecto. Eso era lo que había que hacer. Desconectarlo y conectarlo. Así.
The crowd once again getting behind the general mates, of course, but Falcons there with plenty of support also. The general mates, I'm curious actually how much of
Ok, vamos a bajarlo.
much better day yesterday, coming in.
Porque me escuché doble. Y hablar, ¿verdad? Ahora sí podemos hablar y subir volumen. ¡Eso es, Telu!
That second day and the first day, they would have cruised through. It's just a really slow start on day number 1. But if they can bring that play to the LCQs, they're a shoo-in.
Yeah, and I think
Joaquín, papá, vamos allá.
Minutia of that team too. You got to remember.
Dale, mala mía, voy a estar jugando zombie mientras que estamos viendo esto.
Very last map of the day, where frankly they were selling used cars. I mean, the biggest sell we've seen in a long time.
Que tengo que subir la pistola nueva.
Their fault. Teams just decided to make a play for them and wipe them extremely early. So I will be looking at the Gentlemates and a lot of our other teams.
Pero tenemos aquí, estoy viendo aquí, pum, 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 estoy viendo acá.
At the very least, because to get into the weeds, let's talk about some of the overall standings from this last competition. Of course, you will not see these top 7 teams today. It's LCQs. We are eliminating 7 of the bottom 14. So we're going to be starting here at 100 Thieves as our top seed, technically just missing out on skipping.
Van a eliminar los últimos 7. So que Gama tiene que subir 7 posiciones.
I mean, we've seen in those final 3 full games how often they were not putting themselves in those good positions.
Gama tiene que entrar en 14 a 13. Que no están muy lejos de la situación. ¿Verdad? So que vamos a meterle. Mira para allá, de Usamil, eso fue lo mismo que yo dije. Do not forget Indiano, se quedó gufiado con el meme de Homero y Maggie.
Big shout to Dave Samir, great guy, a good friend, fantastic streamer, and a former competitor at this stage and World Series of Warzone. I love the shout to Dave Samir.
Eso fue lo que yo dije, ya lo que es raro que no tuvo esta gente este año. Fueron mexicanos.
Excited about all of our teams, and I think one that was really interesting is this squad on our screen right now. VKA is one of those teams that after day 1 we said, hey, they kind of snuck into this competition. A team got bumped out last second. They get bumped up. They're the last seeded team. And after the first day, we were all saying in the green room, hey, they might call straight to finals. Day 2, though, very lackluster in terms of points.
Yeah, I mean, they did okay, but in comparison to their day 1, obviously it was a little bit off the path that they'd taken. But for me, look, they have the potential to go through today, absolutely. I think that's the beauty of this last chance qualifier, that literally it could be anyone. I think, we have our favorites. For all the Thieves struggle to get through top 7, they come in as one of the highest seeds. I'd be immensely surprised if they don't manage to find their way through top 7. But the battle for them is going to be between them and Movistar. We're going to be talking about the drops when we do head in. There are some things to talk about on that side of things. But for them and Movistar, they're both going to be dropping there together, we believe, still.
Yeah.
And the conversation on social media was, okay, well, they're choking each other. They're making each other's lives very, very difficult. It's almost that, I don't want to say it's blind ignorance, it's more arrogance when they're both pushing towards that, in the sense of like, no, we're going to beat you out, but is that going to bite them in the backside?
Well, I made a tweet about this because it was a really kind of minutia breakdown of what happened on their POI. It was a double contest, but they're used to that. Those two teams have been fighting each other throughout all the qualifications in all of these scrims that they've been doing, right? Different regions, but when they came together for all the scrims preparing for this, they continually fought each other, and neither team really minded it. Both teams were able to put up a decent amount of points for the most part. 100 Thieves usually won that fight, though, and so they were expecting to do the same. The problem is when both of those two teams drop together every single scrim, every single map, and then go into group stage and do the same, everybody else also knows it. So the problem wasn't the contest, the problem was the 2, 3, 4, even 5 teams that came into third party and cleaned them up, where neither team were able to qual because everybody wanted a piece of just a couple free kills.
Chacho.
The timer is ticking, and we are about to head in. LCQ's the last chance. For a lot of these teams, you have to bring your A game. And for some of these squads, we're going to be really curious on these drops. Those keys are up for offer. The map's on our screen. We're going to start figuring out where they're going to go. But this is what you are fighting for if you are one of those 14 teams in the arena right now. You want to keep a hold of those keys, and can you take them into your day at finals tomorrow?
That's exactly right. Some of these teams have a lot to prove still. Others have to reprove to their fan base that they're a team that can make it to finals and put up big points. Whether it's for the club championship or just for themselves. $1 million on the line for the finals. $250,000 at the top. And I think, yes, the Falcons VP are top teams from yesterday, the day before in group stages. Today, there's a chance to pave a brand new path, create a brand new story. And I'm looking at AG Global as a team that really needs to turn things around, and they have the firepower to do it. 100%. The question is, where does everybody land, Ton? That's the big one in my mind.
We're about to find out. LCQ's underway here for Call of Duty Warzone at the Esports World Cup into Rebirth Island.
Empezar, vamos allá.
For all these
Yo no
squads,
sé si
it's
puedo
about
jugar.
who's dropping
Estoy
where.
aquí en el
Can we
juego
control what we want?
y estoy viendo a la misma
Can
vez.
we get
Yo no
the
sé si
points
pueda, yo no
needed?
sé si pueda.
8 games of Warzone incoming.
Yo quiero verlo, yo quiero verlo.
On top.
A la
For all
madre.
these squads, it is very much do or die. Early doors. We need to see some big starts from some of these teams. Others will bubble away slowly. Who's going to come out on top?
¿Sabes
Get
qué?
number 1.
Pa'l
Here
carajo, juego.
we go. Drop 1, game 1, 8-game series, no breaks. We are flying through it. Everybody get ready for a hot start. We can only imagine. We're going to be paying attention to this map, helping you with player numbers and figuring out where everybody lands and who's changing things up. It does look like a couple folks are finding some free POIs to start, as the Gentlemates have bio all by themselves. And as you can tell in the top left-hand corner, our zone is pulling to the southeast. Bio out of the zone, Kim likely out of the zone, and overall a good look for the first start.
Well, we got an idea where the teams are starting. We're going to have another idea when we load back in, unfortunately. As you can see, teams dropping out of the lobby. We're going for a quick little reset. But, I mean, look, we can discuss what we've seen. And what I was watching on the minimap was the fact that 100 Thieves were down to 1 player immediately. They lost that initial drop coming in against Movistar Koi.
Se tumbó, pues se tumbó. Mierda, podría haber
That
seguido
was a
disparando.
scary start for them. They're fortunate that things are going to go up and running again. Obviously, had a little bit of an issue. We'll get back in as soon as we can. But I don't think there was anything too surprising from my POV of what we've seen from the drop side of things. It looked pretty standard across the board.
Yeah, it was a super interesting look because, frankly, to see bio completely uncontested is a hair surprising to me, but it was a conversation you and I were having about Fnatic. It was Fnatic versus Gentlemates throughout all of group stages. Now, it was a southern polling zone, so maybe teams have a couple drop spots that they're jockeying between. I think that's pretty standard. But for the most part, Fnatic seemingly changing things up this time around, which will be fun to see who goes where and who ends up where. And maybe that sneak peek was good or bad for some of the teams. I don't know, but I'm excited to get back into it.
I'm curious if it was just adaptive because of the zone, because I mean, we got a little look at it there, but it was a very southeast kind of point, wasn't it? We were pulling all the way south, and I wonder if that was just the adaptation. But, I mean, look, for the side of Fnatic, Factory is one of those things where, you know, that's a place they want to go to.
Well, we got to hear from Miles about these keys being crushed. Let's head down to Miles Ross.
I'm here at the Key Wall, here at the Esports World Cup. These keys represent the beating hearts and souls of the teams playing in the competition. Each team has their name engraved upon these keys. It's their very right to play in this tournament. Now, everyone's will have their chance to play today on the stage, but the losers, a very, very difficult moment for them as their keys will be crushed and destroyed in a wonderful crushing ceremony over on the stage. Those keys that are crushed are then trashed up and put inside a resin at the base of the totem across the boulevard, a reminder of their failure, of how close they came to glory. The winner's key will go into the trophy on stage, immortalized. And the frame of that key, the outside of it, that will be placed into the totem alongside all those defeated opponents as an immortal reminder of their glory here at the Esports World Cup 2025. And the beautiful thing, The winning team, they get to pick 3 keys to take with them and put in the base of their trophy. 3 of your favorites to go with you as you remember a big day. Oh boy, we're going to be crushing today, folks. Quite literally. Love me some merchandise. Here in the Boulevard, smack bang in the middle, there is an incredible little hut full of good swag. Everything that you've seen at the Esports World Cup, its entire catalogue covered in good merchandise. You name it, smack bang in the middle. Headwear of games you may know and love. Look, it's this guy from that game you've played. Over here, it's the one that Ronaldo wore. Actually, that's really cool. Might have to pick up one of those. And of course, the guys from that game you know and love. But if you're like me and you're a Call of Duty fan at heart, you might be going back to the big map, to Verdansk. Or a little bit more personal, settling things here on Rust. A lot of fun still to be had here at the Esports World Cup. And what do you know, folks? Merchandise for days. But the real special stuff, the limited edition. Only 100 made, a commemorative trophy. A little teeny-weeny one for your desk. Tell you what, folks, it certainly is magic here at the Esports World Cup.
Well, dang, we love Miles Ross and some cool swag down there, folks. We are getting everything sorted here for our very first lobby of the day. While we wait, we're going to take a very short break here in the booth. When we come back, it'll be Game 1 of Call of Duty Warzone at EWC.
Ocho mapas para hacer puntos. Diablo. Eso es bueno. Señal.